Hey everybody, it's Lebo with Lebo's Pinball. We are back here on Card Tricks. This is the third episode of going through this game just to get it all working right and standing tall. And where we left off last time, we solved a couple problems. I know I kind of jumped through it sort of quickly, but basically we had an issue with when the game would be over and you were in you had your last ball, went to game over, it would still kick a ball out from the out hole over here into the shooter lane. And we focused on the ball unit back here. Had this apart, cleaned it up, um, and put it back in, and made sure that it was actually clocked correctly. And I think that may have been really the main problem, honestly. I don't think that this was landing on the right contacts, or at least not in the right position. It may have been off just a little bit. And it may have been what I would kind of call sort of a race condition, to where this needs to be right where it needs to be at the right time when it says, hey, game's over, before it goes other parts of the circuit that disables sending another ball out. That's my understanding. Anyways, it seems to be working pretty good now because I've not experienced it having that problem at all, and I've tested it a number of times now, and it seems to be pretty solid. The other thing that we fixed, I kind of jumped back and forth in that last video while I was trying to noodle through the fix on that whole game over issue. But the unit that's underneath down inside the cabinet, that's called the spinner unit, that handles moving through all of these different um, items here to be able to basically award you a card, that was not working, and it's working pretty good now. So I've got a number of parts ordered, and we're just waiting for things to arrive. Actually, one shipment, I think it's kind of gotten a little bit lost in the post office, but it's making movement again. But it's been, gosh, at least a week and a half since it got shipped. So that and some other shipments are on its way in. But what the plan is that we're going to be doing a lot of stuff to really freshen this game up. It's getting a lot of new stuff. There'll be new the flipper bats and all the flipper mechanism, everything that's getting redone just to make that just to be all fresh and to perform correctly. Uh, have fresh parts, it'll be good. So we'll be tightening things up there. All of the rubber bands are going to get swapped out with silicone bands from Titan. So very similar elasticity to rubber. I've tested it before that, and then compared to like polyurethanes definitely a tighter band. I wouldn't want to do that on this game. But the silicone bands I've been happy with, so I'm going to keep going with that on this. So they're all going to get replaced. While we're in there replacing that, all of these posts, they're all kind of yellowed out a little bit, so they're cheap. So we're going to go ahead and swap all of those out since we'll have that all apart. The pop bumper caps, going to go ahead and swap those out. I don't think that I need to replace the actual uh, the the bodies or any other parts that are within the pop bumpers. They seem to be working fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the category of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think it really needs much of anything. The lane guides will replace all six of those at the top, and there's a seventh one here that's a little bit longer. New ones come in there. So if we start replacing some of these plastic pieces, it's kind of like once you start here, make that look a little nicer. It's going to look nicer to go ahead and kind of carry it on through with replacing some of the other parts. And then the other thing is, we're also going to go ahead and we're going to go with the warm white LEDs that Comet uses. It's kind of a mixture between their what they call their bullet bulbs that have more of that look like they look more like an incandescent bulb as far as just their appearance. If you have one that's visible from the player's perspective, I like using those. Um, and then some of them will just use what they call their standard 2 SMD, or the surface mount diodes. That we'll use those in areas that are like underneath a diffused plastic, to where that shows a little better. And then underneath the playfield, underneath all the inserts, we're going to clean those out and then put the bulbs in there too. And in some cases, if we run into it, if the socket needs either cleaning, or in some cases just needs to be replaced because it's just not cleaning up real well, or it's gotten really loose, you can't, it's not worth trying to go fight with it. I'll just swap them out. Um, so since we're waiting on parts, except for bulbs. I've got plenty of bulbs already on hand, and I got plenty of sockets in case I need it. I'm going to go ahead and focus now and go underneath the playfield, and we're going to go ahead and start swapping out the lights under the playfield, and we'll take a look to see what that looks like sort of before and after. So hang tight, here we go. So starting out here, I've actually turned the lights off out here in the little workshop just to kind of show a little bit better contrast of the lights in its current state before we start swapping things out. But I've started a game, and you'll notice that I don't have um, any of the cards actually lit up because it's an initial game. But what that does mean is it will have a number of the inserts already lit up. Just to start the game, you've got these first three are going to be lit. Those are not lit because it alternates back and forth throughout the course of the game. But if you look at a lot of the inserts that are numbered, like this 10 and 9, I don't know how well it comes across in the video. It looks like it might be a little bit kind of dim, but they're very dim in person, and that can be caused by a number of things. One is it can be dirty underneath the insert. The bulb could be, the bulb has got some issues, or it could be that the bulb is not making really good contact, and therefore it's not seeing the full voltage that it should be seeing to illuminate it completely. It could be a number of things, but I just kind of want to show you at least a little bit how they look. Like you'll even see, I mentioned the dirt. You'll see some issues where it'll be sort of like a hot spot up here, and then it's not just uniformly lit up. That 3 shows that quite a bit. You can look at the 9. That's that. This, by the way, these are not all lit on purpose because that's part of that spinning unit, so it'll alternate around. But if let's see if I can open up this playfield and show this to you underneath. May have to flip the light back on, but you can see like in there, that red insert, there was a little bit of dirt in there. A little hard to see right now with the light shining right on it, but there's definitely a lot of them that are either just kind of dim, like those bulbs down there are actually kind of dim compared to that one. See how much brighter that one is. That incandescent is working pretty well. But we're just going to go through all of these and treat them all. So we're going to go ahead and do everything that's underneath the playfield because that's what we can do versus until we're waiting on parts and we start taking things apart on the top. But let's go ahead and get this looking good. And then we can also focus in on the back box, and we can look at trying to change out all the bulbs on that too. And I'll show you what's involved. All right, so just generally starting here kind of at the top of the playfield, just leaning up out of the cabinet, or leaning up towards the back of the back box. Take a look at this one right here. So what we got here? You bend this back to where you can get access to it. Just look how dirty that is inside there. So what I like to do, let's see if I can get a Q-tip and a little bit of some rubbing alcohol, and I'll just get in here and just start just kind of cleaning it all up. It usually cuts it pretty well. I have actually run into some inserts before where there was some, I don't know what it was some pretty nasty stuff, and it just did not want to clear out. But this is your typical, I don't know if it's coil dust or just whatever dust and dirt that just likes to make its way on these inserts. But anyways, those have already cleaned up pretty good. We'll go ahead and swap out the bulbs and see how that looks, and we'll just kind of press ahead through the rest of them. So here it is now that I've swapped out that bulb. Notice I swapped out this other one. I'm going to talk about that one here in just a minute, but let's just go ahead and take a peek. You can tell just by comparing that 10 to the 2 that the 10 definitely looks a lot brighter. So now this other one, this is a red insert, and what I've actually put in is I've got a red LED. I like to do that on some of the inserts. If it's a red insert, I'll usually put a red LED in there just because it makes the red insert just look better. If it's a green insert, I'll do that also with the green. But and if there was a blue, sometimes we'll do that also with the blue. But a lot of times, I stick with warm white on just about everything. Just to I don't want to have a color bomb going on, especially on an older EM game. It just doesn't look right. Doesn't, in my opinion at least. And everybody's got an opinion, so it's all your preference. It's fine. But anyways, that one's not lit right now because I got to go through and hit a number of switches to light that up. So let's let's go do that and I'll come right back. So the red is now lit up. I had to actually hit all of the switches, at least I think all the numbered ones. What you see on the back side here, or playfield side, is again, it doesn't show up as well in the video than it does in real life, but this is just a nice solid red, and it just looks right. So we're going to go through the rest, go through all the other spots, and then just see how it looks when we get done. Okay, so all of the bulbs underneath the playfield have now been replaced, and we're going to go turn it on and check it out, see how things look. But before we do that, I just want to point out a couple little things that I did do to kind of improve it just a little bit. So right here, this is that little, the spinner kick out, and it originally had a bulb that was turned kind of sideways along the side path here. And I've replaced the socket with one that comes out and it points a little more down. And I've also added, you see this red wire coming over here. I've added another one to kind of shine on the other side because it only had one on this one side. Now, I'll tell you, on a lot of EMs, I don't like to go overly modify things, and this is just one little mild exception. It's just to make it look a little better and just to kind of get a little more light in the area. And you'll see it here a little bit later when I've got the whole playfield lit up, and you can see why I wanted to do that. But this is completely reversible. If you ever want to just get rid of that and take it off, no big deal. The other thing is this whole little area where, again, with the spinner lights, the light that was in this socket here and then also this one, they were going sideways. And when you're putting LEDs in, it's a little bit better to just kind of have them more shooting down versus going sideways. If you've got a frosted bulb, that does help diffuse it. And that's what I did actually originally. But when I would look at just to see how the lights would lit up, all the other ones that are a clear bulb, they just looked a little bit better than the one that was frosted. So I went ahead and swapped out the socket and put in one that's shooting it a little bit, more straight down. The only one that I still have left, you can see it here. There's it, kind of poking itself in there. See that frosted bulb, and that's kind of coming in sideways. I will probably end up swapping that socket out a little bit later when I get in here to go work on doing a flipper rebuild. I've got everything out. I may see if I can actually position this here. We'll see. If it makes sense and it will fit in there, we'll do it. If not, I'll just leave it as is. This socket up here, also this red one, I swapped that one out and it's pointing straight down. So that's basically it. So now let's put the playfield down and see how it looks. So here we have it. We've got the playfield down and the game turned on. I've got the lights off in the room here just to kind of show it a little bit better. And you can tell that all the inserts are now very clear and appropriately bright. And I got to go ahead and flip the light on because I don't know, the camera does weird stuff when it's dark. But this red insert looks a lot more red than what it does right now. So whoops! If I flip these lights on, you can tell a little bit of a difference now. But yeah, it's turned out really nice. I have not focused on the back box yet because I just realized the bulbs that I have, everything that I've got left, I've only got just a few of the frosted, diffused bulbs. So I'm going to order a few more of those because I'm afraid I'm going to get a lot of hot spots when I start putting those in the back. And I want it to look good. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up just for now, and we will get another video out once we get some more parts in. I think they're going to be in here in a day or two. So hang tight, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.